It is Sunday, August 22nd. Sorry, just got a message. August 22nd. It's funny. The video that posted today is the video where I'm talking about this new fire sign that entered my life again. Not again, but just that entered my life, right? I'm sharing the story of how Mr. Arizona and I met. The last night I stayed up reconnecting with my bee and realizing that I hadn't shared the story with her. And so I shared with her this story and my thoughts and my feelings about like what's been going on, and the fact that he left me a message earlier a week ago and I haven't responded because I've been sitting with it, trying to think about like what do I respond back, and even like sharing with her like, am I getting the wrong impression here? Like this is how I interpreted the information that was came across. And then when I listened to his message again, you know, he's just like, there's it started off good, you know, let's just focus on that. And I'm just like, yeah, everything starts off good, right? Until it's not. Everything always starts off good until it's not. And then my good friend tells me, Yubi, why do you keep interacting with him? And I'm like, well, I'm learning, right? I'm learning that I don't have to be nice to everybody. Or not that I don't have to be nice, but I don't have to I mean, if I don't click with someone, right? And I mentioned to her that I had set boundaries with this other person from around the world that was wanting to get to know me, and I'm just like, I am living my life. You know, like I'm living my life, and there's nothing that really holds us together or makes me want to give more to this interaction, right? Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but there isn't. And you know, he has these infatuations of, he professed his love to me, and I felt bad having to say, sorry, no, you need to move on, right? And it seemed like como que lo dejé con esperanzas. That's what I felt like I left him with hope. And then when I said, no, you know what, I don't want to do that to him, like clearly he's not getting it, so I'm gonna have to put that wall up again, like, no. You need to move on because I'm not going to give you what you want. It's not going to happen, right? And so I'm trying to figure out how to respond to this person who clearly wants to be good friends. And I'm just like, and to be quite honest, se me quitaron las ganas de intentar, right? Like I no longer have the desire to try. But then thinking about like forgiveness, blah blah, second chances, and then the idea came to mind of like, okay, Yubi, what if I were a country? I'm trying to like globalize this now. What if I'm a country and this person is trying to come into my country? Right? He's his own country. I'm my own country. And he's trying to come into my country, right? To my world. And I'm putting these barriers, right? These walls. So in essence, right, when we get triggered by someone, we're putting up these walls like countries do, right? These walls, these barriers. And the way you'll know that you're triggered is when you start talking about them behind their back, or you start talking in a way, right, where they're not there to defend themselves, like I'm doing right now, basically, right? With the little asterisk by my name that if you're watching this, you know that this is like a video entry or diary entry for myself, And unfortunately, if you cross my path, you are now part of that chapter in my life, and it will be exposed. This is how I shared with my loved one, my bee, what I shared with the new person, right, that recently interacted with me, and how I responded back. And if you haven't seen that video, what I responded back to this person was this. I responded back, "You must know that I am not in a position to offer anything other than possible friendship. I appreciate honesty with no hidden motives. And if I feel that the connection is not in my highest good, I will walk away and possibly even request that you no longer contact me. I've done this before because when I explain my situation, I am often not heard or taken seriously due to other people's egos, infatuations, desires, or hidden agendas. I am currently in a period of transition as I establish my new life in this new city. Therefore, my time is valuable. Please do not expect that I will respond quickly nor daily if time does not allow it. If you are in agreement with this, then we can see what happens next." She's like, you need a shirt with that on there. You need a shirt, a bumper sticker, something. But I couldn't help but like just not think about it in that way. If I were a country, right? Because that's what's happening in our society, right? Globally, we all are within our countries, and we have these walls and barriers with other countries, right? When their ideas, their thoughts, their beliefs don't align with ours. And then when you get triggered in a certain way, then you go and invade. You go and invade. And force yourself, right? You force yourself into that world to try to make it right. To try to make them see things from your perspective. Only that in a global world there's killings, there's bombs, there's invasions, terrorism, pain, hurt, sorrow. It's funny. It's the same energetic output, right? It's gotta be. Only at a bigger level. Because more people have that same belief, that same ideology, that same way of thinking. And so then they act with intention in a certain way. When you get triggered. And it's funny. One of the videos that I was preparing to post, I talk about the word trigger. And how it reminds me of a gun. Right? People don't like the word trigger, but really, it's when you pull the trigger of the gun, what happens next, right? There's an explosion. There's a ripple effect. There's something that gets spit out into the unknown, only to hit matter that will at some point break into it, dismantle it, make it fall apart, create a hole, a wound, a space for blood to come out, a wound to heal, a wound that needs healing, right? And the importance of allowing those triggers to penetrate so that we can heal it, so we can feel it to heal it, and then transform it. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to respond to this person who, again, clearly wants to be a part of my life, but I'm like, for what purpose? Maybe that should be my intention. I should ask that. That's what I asked this other person. What is your purpose? What is your intention? I have friends. You have friends. Why this connection? Right? And then I think about I think about my interactions with this new writer friend. I asked him, are you a mentor? Would you like to be my mentor? Then he took all week. He called me today, by the way. He called me today, but I didn't answer. And I heard his voice message. He's like, I'm glad you're out and about. Exploring the city. I'll call you later, he said. But it took him all week to get back to me. And I wonder what his response will be. And I wonder if he's probably thinking the same thing. What purpose? I have friends, right? He has a life. He has projects. He has things he's needing to do, places he needs to go. Why me? Right? I'm in the same position, just the other way around. But in my letter to him, I said, if not, that's okay. I won't feel offended. I won't. It didn't hurt to ask, right? And I put that. I said, I won't be offended. I won't feel rejected. Regardless, I'm grateful that our paths crossed. Even if our chapter was that moment, right? That day, those couple of days. If that's all that it is, okay. Even though I said it to them. Hopefully they'll say yes. I'm in the same boat, right? And these other people in my life that are wanting to be a part of mine. One of them I said, maybe I'll do a Zoom session for the people who want to like just have a conversation with me, right? That way it's not, because there's just one itty bitty me, right? One itty bitty me. And if people want to get to know me, that's time. Time is valuable, right? Time is valuable. So maybe, and I was like, I've been thinking about trying to do maybe a Zoom meeting or something to have people kind of come and he said that was a good idea, so maybe I'll figure out how to do something like that through YouTube or something. I don't know. But that's been on my mind. On another note, I just got back. If you ever want to find out what crazy lady would go up 23rd Street all the way to Twin Peaks, this crazy lady right here. That hike was so steep. Like, the streets were really steep. There was a point where I was just like, oh my god, what? And I knew it too. Like, I knew it was going to be challenging. But, all the cookies I made yesterday, the 20 little crumpets, they're like this big. I ate them all. And I'm like, okay, no, I need to go walk today. And it was an hour away. So I was like, okay. And it's steep, so good workout, right? That sucker was steep. And when I was getting close to the top part, I was almost gonna give up. I was like, what am I doing? I'm so tired. And usually, like, I try not to look down. I try not to look back. And I'm usually like, come on, you're almost there. You're already here. Keep going. But I was getting to that point where, like, the thoughts were getting stronger. And I look up, I kid you not, there's this, and I'll probably post a picture of it. I see the wall, and I'm getting close to the corner, and there's 3 fish, and they're pointing up. 3 fish. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I'm like, okay. And it gives me just the push that I need to get to the top of the street. 23rd and Grand View, I think it's called. And then it's taking me down, because when you do it on your map, Google map thing, you can pick if you're gonna drive, if you're gonna take the bus, if you're gonna walk. So I click on walk, and so then it takes me like through these stairs that I'm like, where is this leading me? Like, oh no, it was through this loop thing that crossed over the main street and then through some, I mean, it was like an adventure for sure. And I'm like, okay, where's this gonna lead? And I keep thinking, like, where's this gonna lead me to? Where's this gonna lead me to? And I'm getting excited, knowing what the destination is, but still, like, these are streets I've never taken before. So I get to the top, and then I see steps to the Twin Peaks. I'm like, okay. And then I put my phone away. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wing it and kind of see where, right? Find some other stairs, take that up. And then I finally get to the bottom of one of the peaks to get to the top. And I didn't get all the way to the top, but I got to the main road. But that, I mean, those steps it's embedded into the mountain, and I didn't bring my hiking shoes. And this, mind you, the whole way that I'm going through this, like, I mentioned how I have a fear of falling from short distances. And when it's steep, I struggle. And because that moment that I fell many, many moons ago, it was steep. And so I'm trying to put those thoughts at bay, like the thought of like having to walk back, right? Having to hike back down. And I'm trying not to think about it. But as I'm going up these steps to the mountain, they're not even steps, and there's gaps in between, and I'm just like, oh, like, I just hope my knees don't give out, right? That was another thought in my head. I'm like, oh, my knees are going to be sore. They're going to start, not sore, but like, they're going to start making that extra noise that they make when I overuse them. And so, but the thought of like, oh, I'm going to have to come down, I'm like, don't think about it, don't just go up there. Beautiful view. How crazy it is when you get up there, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I've walked that whole way to the other side. Like, because like you can see the bay, you can see the city, I can see the church, the Lord's church, and just knowing, right? Knowing like that's Market Street. I've been there, like I've walked all that, like, and just in awe of this city. And then even in awe that I'm like, wow, I walked all the way from over there, right? And I'm like trying to find like where I live, and yeah. So it was really nice. And then there's these ladies that were getting ready to go down the steps that I had just gone up, and you know, a group of older ladies, and just hearing their conversation while I'm enjoying the view, right? Not paying much attention. And then a man and his son show up the same road, and then they find a phone, and he's signaling to me if it was mine. I said no, and then I said, but you know what, there were a group of ladies just here right now who went down, and you know what, I think I see them down there. And I'm overlooking, and sure enough, they're like about to turn a corner. So I'm just like, I think that's them. And then we were trying to see like if we can call, and then I'm like, and then he's like, well, maybe I can catch up to him. I'm like, sure. And then I said, I'll go with you because I saw them. I know who they, like, what they look like. So he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So I figure, I'm like, I mean, I was only there for a few minutes, really. And so now I'm coming back down, not realizing, I'm like, oh, I'm coming back down the hill. Like, I'm not going to be able to stay up here as long as I thought I was going to be. Now I'm coming. But I realized after I got down that I was so focused on helping this man find the owner of this phone that I didn't pay much attention to the steps coming down. There was a moments of like a little insecurity when I almost lost my footing. But for the most part, I was so focused on helping that I didn't realize the fear wasn't there of coming down the mountain, the hill, the peak. And it just so happened that one of the ladies was, the owner of the lady was coming by. She's like, did you guys see, you know, a phone? We're like, yes. I was like, yay, we found them. And, you know, he gives her the phone, and that's it. I mean, a quick interaction like that. No, hey, what's your name? Nothing. Just quick exchange, and all three of us on our way. Then I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm at the bottom of the hill. I guess that was a sign for me to start walking back. So I start walking back. And on the way back, I figure, I'm like, okay, it's going to be really steep. You just take your time. Enjoy each step. And I'm glad I do, because I encountered a lot of things that I'm just like, I didn't even notice this coming up. How come I didn't notice this coming up? I didn't even notice this coming up, right? The same street. And I'm finding all of these lovely little things to look at. And I'll probably include the pictures of what was on my path. And I was just so delighted that you know, it turned out the way it did, right? It turned out the way it did. And then I get home, got my first package. And a letter, a thank you from De Colores Multicultural Arts Inc. when I volunteered with my aunt for this loved one that passed away. And it's just thanking me for volunteering, and at the bottom it says peace through music and art. I'm hoping this is I purchased a sound machine because the neighbors, or one of the neighbors, I think has a band, and he is clearly practicing the drums in the evening. So I'm just like, oh, that's in the middle of my sessions. So in the middle of my sessions, yes it is. I mean, it's a sleep therapy sound machine, but I'm hoping it'll have like, yes, it has the white noise. Perfect. Maybe that'll help to kind of drown out the drums. But anyways, that was my day. I have to figure out what I'm going to respond to this other fire sign, and maybe reach out to my friend, well, I hope I consider him a friend, or an acquaintance maybe. Maybe send him an email that I'm back home. And then it's 2:40, I gotta get ready for the week, finish doing what I was doing, and yeah. So anyways, that's been going through my head, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna respond, knowing that I too am on that end, right? When I meet someone new, how do we give grace? But then when people don't listen, I don't like that. I don't like it when I set my boundaries and people don't listen. I wonder if countries feel that way too, you know? When they don't listen, when people don't listen, when other countries don't listen or don't respect the ways. How do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile that? Anyway, that's all for now. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is, great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, you know, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, you know, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and you know, we'll see what else comes next for me.